What's up, what's going on, legends? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're jumping into a quick guide for the Operation Nightmare Haunting event that is available in DMZ and Warzone here in Season 6, almost Season 6 Reloaded. Now, this does consist of 6 total objectives, 5 of which are eliminating bosses. The last one involves some investigation, and once you guys complete 5 out of the 6 total objectives, you will then unlock the Bass P blueprint known as the Bloody Mess. Now, this is obviously one of the better weapons currently in the game, so you're definitely going to want to get your hands on it, and honestly, it is a pretty cool blueprint. One thing I do want to mention before we dive into it in regards to the bosses is although we do have 5 of them, 4 of the bosses are going to be able to be done multiple times throughout a match. So if a team does beat you over to that location, takes out the boss, there is a short duration of time in which you have to wait where that boss will then respawn. However, the ghost train is the only exception, being a 1 of 1. And once somebody actually beats you over to the train, manages to do the little puzzle there and get to the end, once that train is actually completed, it can no longer be done again in the same run. So at that point, you would have to extract, go back into your next run, and go ahead and try to be the first one to the ghost train. First up, we have the ghost train. This is the most straightforward as it is found on the train tracks in Al Mazrah and does currently replace both the trains that we had previously. So you guys will be able to open up your map at any given time, look on the train tracks, and be able to find the train going around. Now, it is important to note, if you guys do not see the boss icon, it means another team has already cleared this, and you won't be able to do it in the exact same run as it is the only boss. It will not be repeatable. So you guys would then obviously have to exfil and fill into your next match and hope to be the first team there. And once you guys have identified where the train is and made your way over to its location, you guys are going to want to obviously jump on. You guys won't be able to get on until about 2/3 of the way through the train, where you guys will see its first flat car. You guys will go ahead and climb up onto this car, getting access from the back and pretty much heading their way through the cars towards the front. Now, it is important on your way through the cars, you will come across claymores, proximity mines, the wires that are hooked to the grenades that will explode, and even some sentry guns along the way. So you guys are going to want to be cautious of these, take them out as you're going through the cars. One thing I did notice is that the claymores were bugged for me, so I wasn't able to shoot them. We did have to use one of our teammates pretty much as a shield and have him run through all the claymores, giving us pretty much free access through the cars. Once we made our way through the cars, we did get access to a heat-resistant key, which you guys can use to open some of the crates in the highest or furthest car forward. Once you guys make your way all the way to the front of the train, you guys will also see a safe that you can open that can give you quite a bit of loot, but above the safe will be a little statue thing or there, and you guys will pretty much be able to interact with this to grab the heart. Once you guys grab the heart, the train part is actually complete, knocking out the ghost train, which will also spawn in a portal that you guys can use. Basically go through the portal, it'll spawn you in the air, and you can fly over to some other area of the map. Once you guys are ready to leave the train though, you'll go through the portal, and that'll knock out the ghost train. Next up, we have the swamp creature. This guy's gonna be taking us just south of Al Mazrah City into Mawza Marsh. You guys should be familiar with this as it is fairly close to the downtown post office, a little bit south of that. You guys are make your way over to this area where there will be a yellow ring on your map. Obviously, there can also be a swamp creature icon you guys can ping to get to this location easier. You'll make your way over to this area, and within this circle, you guys will see these egg pods that you can go over and interact with. Putting them up is kind of like a loot cache. Within these, you're going to be looking for a golden tiara. And once you guys get access to the golden tiara, you will see a glowing ritual signal on the ground or sign on the ground. We'll take the golden tiara over to that, which is kind of on the little island there in the middle of the swamp, because we'll then be able to interact with this, obviously placing the golden tiara down, spawning in the swamp creatures. I think there's like 2 or 3 of them, and they are fairly easy to take out. They just have a bit of armor, and they don't really do a lot of damage, and they're pretty easy to stay away from. Because they're going to continue to shoot them in the head or eliminating them one by one. But once you guys have eliminated all 3 of them that spawn, you guys have knocked out the swamp creatures. Next up, we have the Pharoah, and this guy's going to be located in the oasis. So if you open up your tac map, look a little bit northwest of that location, you guys will see some ruins with a couple holes in the ground. One of those holes of which you drop down, kind of take a left in the hole in the wall, and it leads you over to the Koshai complex entrance. This is going to be pretty much in the exact same area as that. So if you guys are familiar with that location, you guys are going to basically make your way to the exact same spot. Now, once you guys have actually made your way over to the oasis and made your way into the tomb, and again, I definitely recommend opening up your tac map and pinging the Pharoah in order to make the sarcophagus easier to find. You'll make your way into there, into the bigger room where the sarcophagus is going to be located. Now, the sarcophagus has 5 slots on the front of it, which can hold cursed skulls. These cursed skulls can be acquired by eliminating the zombies in the area. Some zombies do have green eyes, others have a magenta or pink. If you eliminate the ones that have pink or magenta eyes, they do drop that cursed skull. You're going to need to collect 5 skulls in total, taking them over to the sarcophagus and placing them in those slots. Once you've filled each of the 5 slots with a cursed skull, you then will awake the Pharoah and be able to challenge him. Now, the Pharoah is definitely one of the more difficult bosses from all the ones that we have from this event, as the quarters in the area are a little bit tighter, making it a little bit more challenging and less room to move around. And it is important to note, if the Pharoah does manage to grab you, it will perform an assassination, pretty much eliminating you or putting you in the down state. So if you are solo, it's more than likely it could be the end for you if you don't have a self-revive. But if you are working with teammates, it is something you're going to want to be aware of as well. Now, during the time that he is doing the assassination, you won't be able to eliminate him or do any damage, or at least it seemed like it in my run. So you will want to wait for them to complete that, continuing to shoot them in the head until you're able to actually eliminate the Pharoah. Now, it does take quite a few bullets, and obviously if you have teammates it'll be easier, but once you guys are able to do enough damage, obviously you guys will be able to take them out. Next we have the UFO. This guy's going to be off the coast of Sawa Village to the east, and if you guys are familiar with the sunken ships from previous missions, you guys are probably going to know this exact same location. Basically, you're going to make your way to the south portion of the map, and you can also obviously ping the icon on the map, which is the UFO, making your way over to it pretty easily. Once you guys make your way over to this area of the map, you guys won't miss the giant glowing orb in the sky, and once you're ready to engage, you're going to go ahead and shoot this orb until it is destroyed. That orb will then be replaced by 3 anomalies. These ones are going to be kind of bobbing around in the sky as well. You're going to go ahead and shoot one at a time, as it does kind of aggro each of these, and there will obviously be a little bit of a battle there. You guys will continue shooting at the orb until it is destroyed. We'll do that for the second one and the third one, and once all 3 of these anomalies are taken out, the UFO will go ahead and spawn in. The UFO is a little bit more challenging than the anomalies, as it will obviously shoot lasers at you, which don't do a ton of damage, but it's definitely not something you're going to want to stand in. However, you guys are going to want to be cautious for the abduction mech, because you do not want to try to be abducted by this thing, as it is a little bit more difficult to kind of get yourself to be dropped. I did actually manage to get abducted solo, and it pulled me all the way into the sky and killed me instantly, which is something you're going to want to avoid. If you are working with other players, more than likely between the 3 of you guys will be able to do enough damage to either get it to drop you or do enough damage to take out the UFO. And once the UFO is destroyed, it will drop an artifact that will go kind of random in the area. You guys will be able to see this on your map, so you guys won't be able to lose it. You'll head over to this artifact where you then will be able to pick it up. Once you pick up an artifact, the portal will show up on your map as well, and it'll be pretty close by on one of the ships. You guys will go ahead and take this artifact over to that ship location, where you guys will then be able to drop it off in that portal, which then wraps up the UFO objective. Next, we have our last and final boss, the Butcher. This guy can be located in Al Mazrah City, Zarqwa Hydroelectric, Zaya Observatory, or the Cemetery, as there are ritual spots in each of these locations. Basically, at the beginning of the match, you're just going to want to open up your attack map, look for the Lilith statue in one of these locations, ping it, and that's how you're going to know which one of these you'll need to go to. Once you make your way to the appropriate location, for me, a majority of mine were in Al Mazrah City, go over to the ritual site, and in the ritual site, you want to probably clear it of all the zombies. Then there will be 5 statues around the ritual site there that you will be able to activate. Upon activating a ritual site, a progress bar will come up where you will have to defend the area for a set amount of time. Once that progress bar is complete, you'll head over to your next statue. You'll continue to activate the statues one by one, fulfilling the progress bars until you've done all 5 of them. Once all 5 are complete, a portal will spawn in the center, and this will allow you to enter into another realm, basically, or a different instance where you'll take on the Butcher. Once you guys go in, it is important you can go in one at a time, so don't forget your teammates might not actually come in with you. You guys will make your way into there where you'll be able to challenge the Butcher, like I said, and he will be in there with a ton of zombies. Now, overall, the Butcher isn't super challenging. I think the hardest part here is the fire on the ground, as it does damage you, and the zombies that keep spawning in, continuously throwing stuff at you. So it can be kind of tough to regen health or even input plates. But either way, if you guys have teammates in there, it won't be all that bad. Now, what you're going to want to do here is obviously focus on the Butcher. The zombies are kind of annoying, but wasting time on the zombies isn't going to really get you anywhere, because no matter what, the zombies continue to spawn in. So basically, put most of your focus on the Butcher, but do be cautious of the zombies around you, as you don't want to get eliminated. The main thing, again, is that the zombies will be throwing stuff at you, and the fire on the ground. Those are your biggest hurdles. Though, as long as you're putting distance between you and the Butcher, most of the time he's not going to do any damage to you. Every once in a while, he does this loud roar that kind of disorients you a little bit, makes you a little slow, makes your aim a little bit off. Outside of that, he doesn't really do a whole lot of damage. You do just have to be a little bit cautious of him charging in your direction. Most of the time, I did find he was pretty easy. Again, the biggest hurdles being the fire and the zombies. Once you guys are able to go through his health bar, which does pop up on the top of the screen, you'll eventually be able to eliminate the Butcher, which is probably one of the coolest parts of the entire event. Once you guys do eliminate the Butcher, you have a limited amount of time left in that space, so you guys are going to want to get all the loot or whatever that you can, although the zombies do continue to challenge you. But at this point, you have completed the Butcher and all 5 of the bosses. Now we're going to go ahead and dive into the evil spirits. This is the investigation part of this journey here. Essentially, the evil spirits are just 4 locations it's sending you to, where you basically just have to get jump scares. So you're going to send you over to Al Mazrah City, where you're going to just continue to loot around the map, looking in medicine cabinets, loot caches, anything you can basically loot and cause a jump scare. Once you get the jump scare in that location, being Al Mazrah City, for example, Al Mazrah City needs to be at the top of your screen. You guys go around looting around. Once you get the jump scare, that area is then knocked out. Then you're going to make your way over to Al Malik Airport. You're going to go into the airport, around the area there. Once it says airport on the top of your screen, you're going to continue to loot in this area until, again, you get a jump scare. For this one, it'll be a witch. Once you get the jump scare, you can move on to your next one. The next one will be Al Bagra Fortress. You'll head over to Al Bagra Fortress. You're going to repeat the same process. You're going to loot around in Al Bagra Fortress. Once you get the Spectre jump scare, you guys will be able to move on to your next one. Last one here, you're going to go ahead and loot around the map. Once you guys get a jump scare over here in Al Safwa Quarry, it'll be the Reaper. It'll wrap up your last and final jump scare, knocking out the evil spirits and completing your event. Once you guys are able to knock out 5 of the the 6 objectives here, you will get access to that Bass P blueprint and obviously knock out your event objectives. But that's going to wrap things up for today's guide. Thank you guys for all the support in today's video, all the support in the channel. I look forward to seeing y'all in the next one. Peace.